Okay, student, today we are going to discuss about food chain. That what is food chain? Actually, food chain is very important process. The flow of energy in an ecosystem is one-way process. The sequence of organisms through which the energy flow is known as food chain. So the food chain is very important. It's because through the food chain, energy can flow from one organism to another organism. So here are some examples of a food chain. As we know that the sun is the ultimate source of energy. The energy is called solar energy. Plants are producers. They are directly dependent on sunlight, and grasshoppers depend on plants directly for their food and energy. Birds are dependent on grasshoppers to get their energy and food. Snake depend on birds, and hog depend on snake, and so on. Here are some examples of simple food chain. You can see here. Deer directly depend on plants to get their food and energy, and lion is depend on deer to get their food and energy. In another example, different kind of flies are depend on flower to get their food and energy. Frog depend on flies, snake depend on frog, and eagle depend on snake. Small fishes inside the water, they are depend on different kind of grasses and algae, etc. And large fish are depend on small fishes to get their food and their energy. And birds, the seabirds, depend on large fish of water to get their energy and food. So why the food chain is important in an ecosystem? It's because the chain means that all animals are linked together. If something affects one link, it affects the whole chain. The food chain helps to keep all animals from becoming extinct. The food chain keeps animals alive and healthy by allowing them to eat things that give them nourishment. Some other importance of food chains. In a food chain, each organism obtains energy from the one at the level below. Plants are called producers because they create their own food through photosynthesis process. Animals are consumers because they cannot create their own food. They must eat plants or other animals to get the energy that they need. So why does food chain is important to humans? A food chain shows how energy is transferred from one living organism to another via food. It is important for us to understand how the food chain works so that we know what are the important living organisms that make up the food chain and how the ecology is balanced.